When I grew up, school came naturally to me, and I was achieving very high grades and awards and stuff. But in 2021, my mental health deteriorated. I had anxiety and depression, and I never felt like anything I did was good enough. And, you know, it got to the point where a perfect score wasn't even good enough. You know, after spending a year in hospital over like a 2-3 year period, you know, I realized that it wasn't the right environment. It wasn't supporting me.
It was difficult. I didn't study in an Australian school. I studied in Kenya. The education system was great, but we didn't have support where we're told to like take your time, don't rush yourself.
The biggest difficulty I had was being in a system that wasn't catered towards people with like mental disabilities and stuff like that. For example, like obviously I was in the mainstream schooling system. I was able to keep up with it. I was able to do the work to the point where I was actually in the academic class for a long time, but I couldn't get anything done in class because the classroom environment was far too much for me. There was too much happening. I was getting overstimulated.
My least favorite part of my old school had to be like the bullying. It felt like the teachers didn't really understand me from my point of view. I felt like they made me the perpetrator instead of the victim.
Walking to school ground was my least favorite. It was mainly bullying at school. It was also the work kind of wasn't suited for my level. So there was a lot of challenges at high school, especially the fact that I have diagnosed autism and ADHD, so I could never keep up with the work. And I also I had a lot of sensory struggles and needed tactile objects in the classroom, which I wasn't allowed to do.
Well, I would say one of my biggest life goals is a bit philosophically really, is when I'm at the kind of end of my life, is to have like a family surrounding me, you know? Just like be surrounded by a family and loved ones and a crowd of people that I know and love.
Very bloody different here than compared to more traditional schools. It feels like you could, they feel like more of your mate or friend than just like the teacher. Like I have this teacher, Aaron, he's bloody sick as. We both like metal music, like rock and metal, punk music and stuff.
My son made me feel like I can go back to doing what I'm really passionate on. I was like, if I finish high school, that will be like the first step for me to like accomplish something. I was in a point where I wanted to give up, but then the school pushed me to like continue.
When you finish the work, that's when you start the new work. But in other schools, it's you have to finish the work in this set time. If you don't, too bad, you're doing other work.
Traditional schools, it felt like I didn't fit in. The teachers didn't really communicate with the students to develop relationships. It felt like it was just like plain do this, do that, blah, blah, blah.
Having lunch and food available does help you focus. You know, food is fuel. You get told that a lot, but yeah, it does help you focus.
So with me, when I have something delicious to eat, like in the morning or lunchtime or dinner, I feel like I'm more relaxed and I can continue with what I'm doing. So with the lunch, it helps me go and jump into my next the session, the next class where I have to maybe do PDS, which is a subject I find it very difficult for me. So with the food, it does help me create that energy to go and do that.
And yeah, full stomach always helps me with class. If I haven't had any lunch in the morning or breakfast, I bring something in the class. And yeah, whenever I have something to eat, I work a lot better.
The classroom is so relaxed compared to what we used to be. So in a classroom setting at my high school, it was like everyone had to be silent all the time, no whispering, nothing.
Grab a beanbag and just go sit in the corner and do my work. I feel like I can actually be calm when I'm in class. I'm not constantly on edge. I'm not constantly worried that someone's like staring at me or talking about me or something.
There's always someone there to support you if you need it.
It's really good to have that support, you know?
The Living Learning program is amazing. amazing. Like, the workers are so sweet. And I even at one point got linked in with a mental health clinician who was part of the Living Learning program, and we had a lot of sessions together. We even did therapies together.
So I did do K program, which got me my work experience for my local MP, Parliament Werribee member for Werribee, MP John Lister. The people at this school, they helped me set up for it. They sent an email for the application for it. They drove me to his office to do interviews and stuff. So the school, I couldn't do it without this school to get that work experience.
My big life goal at the moment, like my end career goal, is to be a pediatric nurse practitioner. Education has always been a really big part of my life. I enjoy learning. It stimulates me mentally. So I do like going to school when it supports me, and I have, career aspirations, and I always have, and I want to be able to learn stuff in a field that I'm passionate about and use my knowledge to help others.
My experience here is so different towards my old school. They took on the one-on-one sessions, and they kind of were flexible to my learning. What I would like to do in the future is actually come back to Hester Hornbrook Academy and be a youth worker, because I saw how the youth workers help myself and other students one-to-one every day, and they sit with me for long periods of time and will just comfort me when I'm crying, and that is something that I want to be able to do, because I have struggled so much in my life and I want to be able to give that back.
The reason why I still want to do a education is so I have a future in this world, hopefully, because if you don't really get an education, you're going to get pretty much nowhere in life. What schools are missing out from Hester Hornbrook is developing students with teachers developing relationships with students, because if they do that, it'll be more easier to get them pay attention and focus on education and stuff.
Take the time with every student. Everyone is an individual, and I think, everyone's aware of that, but it's how much you take that on and how much you talk to students individually and learn them, as opposed to, oh, this is just another one of my year 10 students.
I walked in and I was like, this is home. Like, this is home. I've said it to so many teachers, I'm like, this is home. I would redo my whole school life just to come here, because the relationships have made me question in a good way that, I deserve what I get here.
It's nothing but positive, and I feel like I'm actually respected as well.
The moment I toured Hester, the moment I walked in the doors, I felt so safe, and I looked around and I'm like, it's such a positive environment. There's posters on the wall. There's so many people checking in with you all the time, and I was like, this is the place I want to go. And Mum was like, oh, maybe we should look around. I'm like, nope, this is it for me.
Just have empathy. Empathy is the most important thing. Once you have empathy and understanding, then that's how you can connect to your students. And I hope they continue with what they're doing. I hope they don't stop.